Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas.
I'm not
Is that a
talking.
Christmas mass?
It was, yes.
That's cute.
I wasn't talking about you three. I wasn't calling you ho, ho,
Mhm.
hoes.
That's
Yeah,
really
we've got a wreath. We got a tree,
cute. We got a tree. Are
ornaments.
there any deer?
Mm,
Is there a snowman?
Yeah, snowman. There actually there's a reindeer caroling with snowmen.
Okay, it counts.
That's quite the
Then it counts.
yeah. Anyway, good to see y'all again. It must be Thursday because here we are watching us.
Drink wine and talk about things.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of the week.
This is Ed and Chris, and we are doing our tasting thing once again. Glad to have you here, and I hope you've had a great week. We've had an eventful week, but at the same time, we just keep getting it on. We're right in the midst of December.
We're smack dab, I
Smack
believe,
dab.
is the phrase where, what's today, the 10th or something
Smack
like that?
dab.
So we're on the home stretch here. It's time to, I'm in awe of these people who are like always prepared for Christmas.
Oh.
I mean,
Somebody asked me if I'm done with my Christmas shop. I haven't stopped.
Yeah.
I haven't started.
Yeah, it just fascinates me how far people can look into and be organized and planning for that.
It's almost like Christmas comes the same day every year.
What? What's that guy said to us last day? He says Thanksgiving's on Thursday this year.
Yeah, right.
Classic.
Yeah, we're well, we get it done.
We get.
We get it done.
Well, no one's going to go without.
That's true. And the things that are really important are things. So
Some of the best
don't
advice.
stress out over getting things. Although I do want to put out a shout out for Mr. Bowman
Oh,
for that beautiful symmetry bottle he dropped by for Christmas, because that was.
yeah. We both got a nice gift.
He gave you something for your work with Shepherd's House. That was a beautiful
It's a
bottle.
beautiful bottle. I had to hide
Alexander's
it from Mr.
Crown.
Richard.
He needed to hide it from me.
I don't want to hide it from you
Well,
because that's something we'll enjoy drinking
that's
together.
a mighty fine one. But yeah,
That's good.
we're blessed, and don't be surprised if we end up drinking wine for Christmas instead of eating food.
Wasn't that the way it's supposed to be?
I think that happens time to time.
Christmas food is kind of, it's not as remarkable as the
Thanks-
other holidays.
it's-
It can be anything.
Well, the thing about Christmas food,
Well,
I think, it's
Easter
mostly
and-
like cookies, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's you're coming off of just a month after the biggest feast of the year, and so it's really hard to follow up Thanksgiving.
Christmas can be anything.
I
Some people
like
make
Easter.
beef
I
or
like
lamb.
Easter and
I
Thanksgiving.
don't like
better.
4th of July. You
Yeah.
know what you're going to get on all these holidays.
Yeah.
Christmas, it can be anything. I know people who do lasagna. I know people who do lamb
Oh
every
yeah,
year.
raviolis. Yeah.
You just never know. I mean, it doesn't have
Yeah, my buddy James, we were talking about his new restaurant he's opened up in Brevard, and he always does raviolis.
It's great. I mean, it doesn't matter because
And-
Christmas is all about the fellowship and the wine and the presents, especially if you like getting wine for Christmas.
Those are the best presents
The
of all.
best presents. But yeah, I read, somebody told me, or I read something anyway. Don't go broke at Christmas trying to tell somebody you love them.
Yeah.
It's not about that. So, unless it's like really nice wine, then you can go broke
Then
buying
go
for us.
broke. That's a great investment. Might not be an investment in your bank account, but it is in our souls.
And you know what? You can't put a price tag on that.
That's true. All right, well, I guess eventually we're going to have to talk about wine. Not be so silly. So we're going into a mostly uncharted waters for most people, and that's Corsica. Now this island has been, it's been lots of things. Currently it's France. But
Stay tuned.
it has been it's one of those strategic islands off the coast of Italy, northern Italy there, that has been kind of passed around. I think it was Islamic from like 700, 800. It's been many, many things. It's been Italy, it's been Roman, it's been Greek. But like I said, currently now it is French. And this is always been a great winemaking region, except for when it was on Islamic rule or they forbid alcohol. But minus those 200 years or so, it's produced tons of wines, and I don't think many people think of this island or even know of this island for that matter. It's not the most, it's not Hawaii. Like it doesn't, like if you named if you named 10 islands that you love, it probably doesn't come up in that list.
I don't think you can be famous if the British didn't colonize you.
That's true.
I mean, if you only colonized by the Arabs and the Italians, I mean,
right,
you really haven't made it to the big time.
Yeah, so maybe they'll do that next. With Brexit, they might start colonizing again.
Hey, did you remember that old movie with? It wasn't a technical Cheech and Chong movie, but it was Cheech and Chong. They were the two.
Oh, but they weren't playing their
They weren't playing their characters, but it was those two, and it was called the Corsican Brothers.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were like separated at birth, but they could feel the pain. So
yes.
they do have some claim to fame.
And that's something.
That's something. Better than nothing.
Yeah, but this is a beautiful blend, Grenache Syrah and some also locally indigenous grapes to the island. And I think it's just wonderful. This is the kind of red that is complex but light. So, in these holiday seasons, and your chef was alluding to, Christmas food can be anything. This wine kind of goes with everything.
Yep.
Or anything, however you want to put it. But I really like this. Beautiful nose, great structure. Fruity, bright, delicious, long finish. It's dry, but it wouldn't be what I would consider, you're not going to get like a Nebbiolo dry. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's dry, but it's juicy. I don't know. I mean, I hate to say those two things together, but I mean, it's not a,
Yeah, you don't have cotton mouth. Mm-hmm. And this is a beautiful wine to start the night. It's beautiful for aperitifs. It's, I think this would be really good with chocolate.
I think this would be a great shower wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drink this in the shower before you start opening something else.
Great way to start your day.
Yeah.
Drinking wine in the shower. If you haven't done that, I highly recommend it.
Highly recommend. A very underrated experience.
Yeah.
I'd get a shelf though.
Yeah.
It's not fun to drink wine in the shower if you don't have a shelf.
Yeah, and those helmets that hold beers, I don't think you can really do that with wine.
Well, they're not fun because the shower heats the beer up so fast.
That's true.
But with the wine, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically what we're saying here, versatile wine, absolutely beautiful packaging, boss bottle, heavy bottle, good size pint. I highly recommend this with anything that you love, including pork, beef, chicken, veal, seafood. It'll work with everything. It's really wonderful. And this is the island from which one of the great influences on wine came from is Napoleon. And the Napoleonic laws of Bordeaux and how he, basically set forth a system of grading the great wineries of France still holds true today. And that's, we're talking 150 years, 170 years later. So it is a wine, it's an important area for wine. And I think we should all kind of dip our toes into it to understand where he came from so that he understood how important wine was, particularly in Bordeaux area.
And in the French style, when you have the raised crest here, that means all your fruits are state fruit. Is that correct?
It should be, yes.
Meaning you can't put by French law, you can't put a raised crest if you
and we were
sourcing grapes from anywhere other than your chateau.
Right, and we were just what were we tasting? We were tasting Chateauneuf du
Sipping.
Pape
What a great day.
before we rolled up here, and it was a 2017. Still a bit young to serve,
Just a
but
baby.
still enjoyable to study and taste and project out where it might be. And you know, when I think of all the raised crests, I think Chateauneuf is my favorite. You know, they always
Great
have that
story.
the two keys with the Pope hat, and so we were
Keys meaning the keys to heaven.
the two kingdoms, because there were two popes at the time.
So it represented the Great Schism, and I don't know if you know, by law you can have 13 grapes in your Chateauneuf, and it symbolizes the 13 chateaus that housed the Pope during the Great Schism. And so the symbology there is from that, and so it's not really so much, it didn't start about the grapes, it started about the symbology of the area where the Pope was taking refuge while the whole schism was worked out. So that's why as many houses, chateaus as he was stayed in represents a different grape that can go into the blend, and the keys obviously being the keys to the kingdom of heaven. So who doesn't love a great story with their wine?
And the wine is heavenly.
It is a bit angelic, isn't it?
Yes,
It has something otherworldly about it. And not to discredit all the hard work that goes into wine, from its infancy to the table. I'm not trying to call it something it's not. It's a huge endeavor, but I've never had a bad one.
Chateauneuf. Yeah, I agree.
There's something about that area.
Yeah.
And again, it's not to take away from what put into it. So I'm not saying you can just fall asleep and be shut enough in the bottle. But,
Right.
but boy, oh boy, do
Well,
they
so
live
it's
in a very special place.
It's a limited space, and you have generation after generation after generation. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to leave. They're going to hand over the keys to the. You know what I mean? It's
Even if you could afford it, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Good luck buying that
And
property.
there's nothing else there but people making wine. There's probably maybe 2 restaurants.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
Mm-hmm. All they do is make wine, probably drink wine.
We're doing it all wrong, Ed.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't be rich and famous like we are doing this video, though.
That's true.
Gotta
Upside
remember all
everything.
the fame. I mean,
Upside everything.
yeah, that's true.
Except when you try to travel and you're harassed nonstop in the
Oh
airports.
yeah, we can't go anywhere now. It's
Airports
terrible.
and hotel lobbies.
What were you saying before we started this video? That we should take all the money we're making off this video and put it back in
Yeah, well, we were
to
saying
our production team.
our production team should expand. We were talking about doing a separate thing where we show kind of our outtakes, our bloopers. Because when we're preparing to film and then after and during, there's lots of great comedic gold.
Mm-hmm. Especially when we do 3 or 4
or
filmings,
5.
because not because we don't edit or restart because of us. We do it because of technology.
Well, we were talking about
Fails
taking,
us.
some of the profits we make off our YouTube royalties, and hiring a third person.
Because I think we had 15 views last week.
Actually, I think it got up to 19.
Yeah, we're rolling.
But the week before was 35. But of course, we've shared that on social media.
Is that because you watched it 34 times?
I don't think it works that way. I mean, it would have been 80 if that were the case.
Do you make your kids watch it?
No. I want my kids to love me.
That's true. If I had kids, that's what I would do. I'd make them watch my videos.
It's bad enough. I make them watch hockey and baseball.
Well, you're a good dad. You are a good dad.
They already resent me for that, but they'll love me for it
Oh,
later.
in 20 years from
Yeah,
now, they're
they'll
going to
appreciate
be
it.
so. Yeah, because their significant others like, wow, you know about baseball and hockey?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, me
Yeah,
and my dad.
Sure do.
We loved it.
And by the way, we're going to have some beautiful Louisiana swordfish with the Corsican wine. Being an island country, certainly they would, seafood would be a huge staple of their diet, both of their white and red varietals. And as Ed was saying, the profile flavors of this wine and the weight of that wine certainly lend itself. And I think swordfish is heavy for a fish. You know, it certainly carries a certain weight about it.
Texturally.
It's got a big weight. It handles more robust flavors as well. I mean, you know, some fish just get overpowered by the accompaniments. Swordfish really stand up to bold accompaniments. And we will have some bold accompaniments with our sword that'll really sing with our Corsican wine. It'll be great.
Yeah, that's great because
Thank you, by the way.
yeah, the flexibility of this wine really nice to have around. I think that you have the ability to turn some people onto red wine that maybe don't drink red wine.
Great point.
And that's always a good thing.
A good bridge wine.
Yeah, all those red wine lovers out there that think it's really important for other people to drink red wine, well, here's your chance. Yeah.
How dare you enjoy something I didn't
Yeah,
approve?
right, yes. So, I mean, you know, I know that I have people in my life that only drink white wine, and I'm quite okay with that. But there are other people that aren't okay with people that just drink one color. That's fine. Drink what you want to drink. But
And get out of everybody else's business.
get out of their
Live
business.
your own life.
But at the same time, you know, if you want, this will be a good way to do it. You know, sneak it up on them, or that beautiful Beaujolais Nouveau that just came out last week. So there's ways to get them to red. Just got to be gentle with them.
What'd you think about the Beaujolais release this year?
It's tasty.
Was it good?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, fruity, fresh, per usual.
Per usual.
As far as the vintage ones, we won't really know. I would suspect we'd probably know something more in the spring to summertime, how they're aging, how they're coming along. But right off the bat, I haven't heard. All right, so we have been doing a fair amount of Tempranillo lately, but mainly from but not from Catalonia. So yes, Spain, but different part of Spain. And I think that's important because Spain is a really diverse country. We don't really think about it as such, but it is a diverse country. It's very compartmentalized. In Catalonia, who's tried to secede countless times because they don't.
They really do. I mean, they're still at it.
Yeah, they're still at it.
Still
I think they've just voted.
They don't want anything to do
maybe it was the latest.
And they were all arrested.
2 years ago.
They were all arrested.
Maybe a year and a half ago.
And they were all the top politicians that were in.
Yeah, they
were
the
all
military
arrested and thrown
dragged
in
them
jail.
away.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll keep trying. Spain
They'll get
is
there.
Spain
They'll
is
get there.
Spain is a country that has many. It represents many places, I guess. It's like probably 4. You got the Basque region that's definitely
And I
wants
was
to be
actually getting
separate.
ready to say.
They want to be separate.
Catalonia. I mean, the
Catalonia.
Basque region, and they go about it a little different. You know, the Catalonians had a vote. The Basques,
They'll just shoot their way out.
Then they've been shooting their way out for a long
Or
time.
bombing their way out.
And they don't really want to negotiate.
Not that that's stuff that we should take tongue in cheek, but we are right now because it's about wine. But the point
Well, how
is,
did we feel about that back in '76?
right? The point
We
is,
shot our way out of England.
that's true. The point is that it's a diverse country with different cultures, and the grape Tempranillo is showcased in a lot of different ways. And it's not just the fact that they have different terroir and different weather and soil, but as a whole, Spain is maybe not as diverse soil-wise as some places, but the grape does show differently throughout the country, and I do feel like there's a certain reflection of the people a lot of times, the winemakers, the food culture is often reflected in the wines.
I love it. I'm so glad you're saying these things because
It's not just
the passion.
It's not just the things that we
passion
can
of those
say.
people.
Oh well, yeah, they have limestone
Yeah.
and they don't. It's not because they have a southwesterly wind and they have a northwesterly wind. When you look at a map,
Amen.
I really do believe that wine reflects people, and I think this is a great example of it.
Amen.
Tempranillo, we know very well. We've dived into so many Riojas. whether it be Rio Alta, the different regions of Rioja it has its own reflections in itself. Priorat, we've been getting the Monsant, and just in the river basin, Ribera del Duero. I mean, there's so many places that we've enjoyed Tempranillo, but Catalonia probably isn't what people would think of first when it comes to this grape.
And a lot of that is because of what we were talking about earlier. Catalonia is really into themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not like busting out trying to get their wine exported all over the world, like the more robust cities and areas in Spain where, they're like grow, sell, grow, sell. So it's a different mentality. It's like I mean, like you go to the different cities around Spain. There's a much different. Some are more laid back. Some are more aggressive, and so I think that's probably has nothing to do with the quality of the Catalonian wine so much as the laid backness of the Catalonian people. Are like, well, sure, you want me to sell you some, or
that nose is insane.
It's so rich.
Yeah, it's a very rich nose.
This wine is rich, and I don't mean jammy rich. I mean it is full-bodied rich. I mean from the top to bottom, it's got it all. It's got the spice. Yeah. It's got the tannins. It's got the weight. It's got it all.
This is going to sound ridiculous, but I'm just going to tell you because I've smelled it 4 or 5 times, and when I first tasted this wine, I didn't spend a lot of time with it. I tasted it on a long line of other wines, and it stood out. I'm like, okay, this is a wine that I think people will like. And I was tasting it and smelling it, and like I said, it was probably about 13 to 15 wines. And now that we're just having these 2 wines here together, and it's been about a month or so since I first
had intimacy, you had the time, you take some extra time.
It could be because we had a little Chateauneuf de Pop earlier, but anyway, this nose to me is even richer than I first originally thought. And this is going to be really bizarre. This description is probably going to be, you're going to just look at me like I have 9 heads. But this to me smells like a chocolate-covered caramel with fennel. And I know that sounds just stupid, and that's just me, and I hope I didn't plant a seed into your head. But
no, to me it's like...
When you said spice, to me it's kind of a fennel spice. But
to me it's like you brushed the tops of the fennel. It's like you brushed the fennel tops in cheer wine.
Yeah, cheer wine. I love that.
And just the nose is because cheer wine, I don't like the taste of cheer wine, but I love the smell of it. Yeah. And to me, cheer wine is very rich. Like when you drink a normal soda, a Coke or a Pepsi or Dr. Pepper or whatever, I mean, it's all bubbles and sugar.
Right.
I mean, that's it. Yeah. You get that huge carbonation at the beginning. You get nothing but the simple, the corn syrup on the end. But a cheer wine is very rich. It's even though it has a little bit of the effervescence from the carbonation. To me, the cherry in it is very gives it a character that other sodas don't. But this has red and blue fruit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is an intensity on the nose.
Juniper.
Yeah, absolutely. When it hits the palate, this is not going to be so intense on the palate. So here you have a wine that really, and we talk about this so many times at the chef's table, at our Thursday night tastings, the nose and the palate, does it match? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. But, a lot of times you won't smell anything on a wine. It's very robust on the palate. This, to me, is very robust on the nose, and the palate is maybe like a notch down. It's not a flat wine or a flabby wine by any means, but it's more like a more integrated and smoother on the palate than the nose is, for me anyway.
Well, and you really have to, you really got to get the wallet out to get a nose like this.
Usually, yeah.
On a lot of, you're normally paying for that nose.
I agree.
So I mean, this is probably a little bit of the opposite, where sometimes when the nose isn't as fantastical, but then you drink the wine on other wines and they're like, oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
The nose may be a little flat, but
Yeah.
like you said, this does take a step down. But I mean
But not like in a
but not in a bad way.
way.
Yeah.
It's just not like I'm almost.
You wouldn't want it to taste like this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would
I'd
brace myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it would be comical almost for a wine to taste like this nose.
But
well, we both had weird descriptions for it, so
that's
it would
true.
be kind of comical.
Yeah, it would be weird.
It'd be like, well, I don't think I want something.
Right. Yeah. And it is. It does have a beautiful mouthfeel, great weight to it. There, like Chris said, dark fruits paired with red fruits, subtle tannins. It's dry. It has great acidity. I think this wine will. I mean, it's already got some years on it, and I think it'll continue to go.
4 years on it already?
Yeah.
Almost 5. We've got to quit calling. We've got to start giving wines credit for this year.
Yeah.
I mean, with 2 weeks left in this god-awful
We're moving
year,
on.
we really got to start giving wines credit because they made it. They made it the whole year. So, I mean, really, it's 5 years on this puppy. I think I was fooled on the first round. We're going to need a tad bit of investigation.
Just to make sure, yes, just to make sure. So,
well, I mean, a lot of people get second opinion.
So as much as we geek out on the nose, because that's what chefs do, but palate-wise, this wine is not intimidating. It's not overwhelming. I do believe that people can enjoy this wine. That they're getting into red wines. It's not going to be, I wouldn't say it's a starter wine by any means, but it's also going to be a wine that if you have someone that's maybe not into the big calves and stuff, they can still enjoy this. Because
this is nothing like, complexity-wise it is, but this is not like trying to do a big,
they're not trying. It's not an
big
overproduction.
modern Napa cab,
Yeah.
which would just is lost on a lot of things. I mean, no, this very super approachable.
And Chris and I have had some Spanish wines that literally took 2 of us splitting a bottle, hour to drink, hour and 15 minutes to drink, because they were so, intense. This is
wound
not
up
that.
too.
Yeah,
I mean,
wound up.
I mean, they're just.
This wine's again. This has years on it. I bet it was wound up a little bit a couple of years
Could you
ago.
imagine?
Mhm.
And I don't know what it is
It's
about
drinking
Spanish
very well.
wines. I mean, you can open a 10-year-old Spanish wine, and it is just like crushing fruit in your hand. And
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on over there, but I mean, and it will still. And if you have to be patient with Spanish wines, even on the 8 or 10-year-old fine wine. I mean, it's just so wound up, and I don't know how they keep it that way, but you've got to give it some time and some air, and the silk that develops on these wines is just, and you would think it's not there. If you pop it open and drink it, you're like, whoa, fruit bomb, and then 20 minutes later, it's drinking like a 20-year-old Bordeaux.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's astounding the stages a fine Spanish will go through that a fine Napa or French wine will not. I mean, they are what they are. I mean, you can decant them and whatever, but they don't go from here to there. Like, I mean, they kind of do this.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. In a good way.
I can't get that out of my head though. There might be some almond in there too.
That's a wonderful observation. Almost extracting. Because you're not getting that roasted almond. You're getting that extract almond.
Yes. That's coming from the pastry chef over here. Well,
I'm not thinking about cookies right now at all.
This probably would be good with some almond cookies, wouldn't it?
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
What do you plan on
directly.
throwing at them?
I can't wait to share this with you because we can't wait to try it with you. Got a wonderful new item that we just brought in today. This is from a farm in Northern Virginia. I'm going to butcher that. Oviedo, I believe is the name. Get back to you on that, but Oviedo, I believe. They're about, I don't know, 45 minutes south of DC. American Wagyu beef. And so basically what these folks have been doing is breeding Wagyu beef with Angus beef. And they've come up with this amazing animal. And we were admiring it when it came in this morning.
Marbling.
The marbling is out of this world. And, you're normally having, and we're not talking about this ridiculous true Japanese Wagyu A5 where you're paying $70 a bite for. That's not what we're about here. But I mean, this is true American Wagyu, beautiful. When we're supporting Virginia farmers here who are really taking American beef to another level. And we're not looking for a pat of butter that came from a cow. We still want it to taste like steak. So we're really encouraged by the beautiful marbling on this, and just so excited to dive in and be able to offer it in a lot of different ways here at the winery. But you're going to get the flat iron. You're going to get some Wagyu, American Wagyu, Virginia flat iron steak tomorrow with this. And it's going to be special. And as luck would have it, I'm doing mashed potatoes with the brisket for a family meal for this. So it'll be a little mashed potato. I'm probably going to add some truffle oil to it. Have a little whipped truffle potato with the Wagyu beef. Count it.
Why can't it be Thursday? Well, it is Thursday, but
we're
filming this.
We're watching this on Thursday, but we're doing this today.
Yeah, think about that.
You're going to have to suffer through this fried chicken we're going to do after this.
Ooh. I love it. So, we've had a
Frying chicken makes me thirsty.
Yeah. Well, we've been circling around like a buzzard. This is Ed with the wine. This is Chris. What are we filming? What are we filming?
So, what buzzards don't like, I mean, they have an important job in our ecosystem.
Right. To drink all the wine.
Well, they don't like waste.
That's right. We don't.
And if you're just sitting around polluting the environment with your wasted glass and your wasted juice, attracting fruit flies. So, I don't know if you remember that.
You actually cut down on fruit flies by drinking more wine.
Right, and we need to get the glass in the recycling bin.
Yes.
And instead of your litter.
That's right.
Of it just sitting around, looks like a bunch of hobos here. So it needs to be clean and organized. And the wine needs to be either gone or unopened.
We're on the gone side.
Thank you.
That's where we fall. And I hope that you out there in video land are on the gone side too. If you want any of these delicious wines, we would love to get them for you.
Oh, you should.
Of course, if you want some of Chris's delicious food, family meals, check us out on social media, our website, and just give us a call and we will make it happen. And if there's something else, maybe that we didn't promote.
I bet we
some
can take
cheeses,
care of it.
some meats. We got you covered. Some oysters.
Oh, North Carolina Fat Belly oysters in this week. Stones Bay oysters in this week. Carolina Gold oysters in this week. Again, we got our Louisiana swordfish. Beautiful striped bass coming out of Virginia right now.
Yes.
It's going to be lovely. Got some exciting pork belly coming in Friday. It's a company out of Chapel Hill. We've been waiting on this. Has kind of been brewing for a while.
Right.
Waiting to get this in. I mean, they ship all over the country. But anyway, we got some really great stuff here now and on the horizon. Cheeses, of course, always. Just really excited. A lot of cool stuff happening right now.
Yep. And with more and more COVID-sensitive people, it's more and more important to think about your restaurants because we can use your help along the way. So keep us in mind. If you're doing any shopping, we appreciate you shopping with us. And if you need wines, we appreciate you ordering from us.
So please keep us in mind. The tough time out there right now. I mean, we're not complaining because everybody's in the same boat. But people are skittish right now. Restaurants are hurting. restaurants need your help. Our sister company needs your help with our face masks, with Fish Hippie apparel for Christmas gifts, wine, gift cards, whatever you could do. Tip your server, whatever you could do. It means a lot to our staff and to us, and for hopefully our longevity.
That's right. And we will see you one more time before Christmas.
Or more. You know, we may just like...
We might sneak one
we
in.
may sneak. We may just...
Yeah.
There's more wine to discover and drink, and there's more things to talk about.
Well, there you heard a little sneak peek of an extra one.
I would love to do a Christmas.
Yeah.
I hope we...
With a Christmas hat on?
Mhm. Well,
Just-
I'll be sitting on a reindeer.
As long as I don't have to dress up like an elf, I'll be happy to.
I promise.
Yeah, almost. We haven't cussed
No,
once.
not once.
In all of our
We all
filming,
Gotcha.
that was the closest. That was the closest I got.
Shoot.
Shoot is what I was going to say. Thank y'all for watching, and we will see you either here or virtually next week.
Look
See ya.
forward to it. Take care, everyone.